This podcast is the sole property of Proud Sports. Our thoughts and opinions are our own.
Yeah. They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king.
It's a Proud Panthers podcast, and Steven here with you as always. A part of the Proud Sports family, all of that at ProudSports.com. That's PROWLED sports.com. This podcast, home of all things High Point University basketball. We appreciate you being with us. You can follow this podcast on X at Proud Panthers. And today we are getting set for another High Point University game inside the Cobain Center. This one coming up tonight, actually, against LaSalle, who is 4-7. Our High Point Panthers 9-3. Because of a little bit of time in between these couple of games, our most recent win coming over the Flying Squirrels earlier this week in Mary Baldwin, I was able to catch up with a guest. So coming up, we are going to be joined by the man in that game who had 11 rebounds. That is coming up next.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Wake up the Carolina way. Hi, this is Stephen Beck. Join me every Saturday morning for Waking Up Proud. We've got local eats, hot sport takes, and a whole lot of Triad and Carolina flavor. From barbecue debates to big game breakdowns, we've got your Saturday mornings covered. Wake up, chow down, and cheer on. Carolina mornings start here with Waking Up Proud. Saturday mornings, 9 to 11 on WSJS. The morning show that feels like home. It is the Proud Panthers podcast, and I am Steven. Thank you for being with us today. We do have a Waking Up Proud episode for our followers of Proud Sports. That can be heard in the Triad on WSJS Radio. There's 4 FM signals, an AM signal, and also anytime at WSJS.com. Plus, we'll have it up on the podcast platforms. But I say all of that because after tonight's game against LaSalle, we'll be joined by head coach of the Panthers, Flynn Clayman. And so if you have interest in hearing his thoughts after the game, I'll have those for you on tomorrow morning's episode, Waking Up Proud, 9 to 11 on WSJS. But as I said, we're coming off of a win against the Flying Squirrels, Mary Baldwin. And in that game, my man Caden Miller ended up with the leading rebounder for the game, had 11 of those. And here just recently, we were able to catch up with
Caden
him.
Miller joining us on the Proud Panthers podcast, a member of our High Point University basketball team, freshman, joining us this season. Caden, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. First off, we're into the season now. How's things feel your first regular college basketball season as a freshman?
I feel like I came in really prepared. We spent a lot of time over the summer getting prepared for this and just getting to play against older guys, especially with transfer portal, playing against older guys all the time. Owen, Yusuf, they're pretty big. They're pretty strong. So just getting to play against them every day, the whole summer, just grinding it out, getting together with these guys. I think that we came in really prepared for the season. I came in really prepared just as a freshman in general. And like you said earlier when we were talking, I'm gifted with a very athletic build and size and just all the genes and everything. And so, I mean, it doesn't mean I haven't put work in it on my own, but just in general, you know, I think that I was kind of built for this already. So now it's just putting it all together and getting the work in. And I think we've done that all together very well.
I'm glad you went there. I was going to ask you because I worked with the men's basketball team way back when I was a part of High Point University, and I've been around college basketball just as a fan for a long time as well. And so it's rare to see a freshman come in my opinion, as developed physically and gifted as you are. Mm-hmm. Do you realize that, or is that just something that, you know, people, strangers like me, awkwardly tell you about, and so now you know?
Yeah, I think that I have high standards for myself as it is, so I always push myself really hard. I think of myself as you should be physically developed already. You're here at Division I basketball, you should be that already. So there's part of me that's hard on myself on that, but I think I realized it during the summer. You know, Owen started posting me up. You know, one week he was killing me. You know, the next week I started, you know, bowing up to him a little bit, and I wasn't moving as much. You know what I mean? And so just kind of realizing through that, you know, that my strength and my athleticism and, you know, jumping high, running fast, you know, boxing out, rebounding strong, just in the weight room, pushing myself as hard as I can. I know that the weight room in Division I basketball is a very big deal. So just taking all that super serious and going at it as tensely as I can. That's what my dad taught me. He played football, and he taught me how to work in the weight room. So, you know, going from a football player, teaching a basketball player how to lift, that's a big, big plus. So I think that just all that being put together really helped me come in ready and, yeah, just be able to run with the big guys.
You said earlier that you still do have to put in the work, and that is right. But I also would agree and hint back to something you just shared there, that it's partly genetics. Yes. Your dad being a football player, your mom played college basketball as well. It's a little similar to Braden, who we've had here on the Proud Panthers podcast. You know, his mom played college basketball. His dad was his coach. And I feel like all this stuff does weave into who you are, Caden, coming in to who you are now as part of our team. So I wanted to ask a couple of things based off of that. So you shared your dad was in a football environment as a player. Yep. Did he want you to be more aligned in football, or,
no, quite the opposite? He didn't want me involved in football at all. He had an injury, career ending, and so he knows the dangers surrounding it. You know, my little brother, he wants to play football now. He's 9, pushing 10, and he's like, I want to play football, Dad. I want to play tackle football. Let's go outside and play tackle. My dad's like, I don't think so, buddy. Like, we're going to take it a second, let you develop a little bit. So he knows the ups and downs, the ins and outs of football, professional football, the danger that it entails. And so I had the build for basketball. He told me to push basketball. And so that's just what I did. And I think that we picked the right route.
I now have to ask you, though, your 9-year-old brother, is he picking up a basketball at all?
No. That's the only thing he hasn't picked up, which I'm honestly okay with. So my little sister, she's picking up the basketball. She's pretty good. And so I got 3 younger siblings. I'm the oldest. And so obviously the most athletic. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, I try to be a good role model to them. And
now your mom, we also referenced her. She was a college basketball player.
At Arkansas, yeah.
So I asked Braden this. I'll now pose a similar question to you, since both of your moms share it. Yeah. Could she beat you? Who would win, you versus her?
She would tear me up, because she's 6 feet. She was a post player. So whenever we were around the same height, when I was shorter than her and around the same height, she'd beat me up a little bit. You know, she'd throw some elbows. She'd probably push me the hardest when I was younger. And still, I mean, if you come to a game today, you'll hear her yelling my name like a crazy person. But I love that about her. She's my biggest fan. So yeah, definitely she couldn't beat me one-on-one. A couple years ago, I'd say I was able to beat her when I was around 6th, 7th grade is when she really couldn't hang with me anymore. But she'd still put up a fight. So she's a post player for sure. So
that does lead to part of my curiosity. When did you start playing?
I started playing basketball in 2nd grade. So I was a little later to most of the kids, and I was half their height, which is really hilarious. And I started in 2nd grade. I started taking it serious around 5th grade is when I really started taking it serious. And then we got to junior high school is when I started hitting crazy growth spurts. and, dunking and doing all the things, and really fell in love with it.
So now you are here, part of the High Point basketball team. You've had all this entrenched in your upbringing and started creating who you are today. But part of who you are today as well is a person off the court. And I always love to try to showcase that a lot to our fans and followers, because that's something that I experienced working closely with the team. You just get to know folks and guys better. But all of that is to say that recently off the floor, I was really just scrolling social media and saw that you recently were baptized by also a member of High Point's team, and Chase Johnston, who we've had a pleasure of joining us here. But I wanted to share how cool I thought that was and give you an opportunity to share a little bit just how that happened, and also sharing that experience with a brother in Christ, but also a brother on the team.
Yeah. Definitely the best decision I've made. It was me and my dad, we called it, adult baptism, baptized when I was younger for, salvation's sake. This baptism was really more of a redeclaration to just myself and to Christ. I'd hit rock bottom a couple of times the past few years, and I just felt like I was drifting. And I think I really needed this just for me and Christ to really redeclarate my life to Jesus, and not really for other people, but, in front of my High Point family and my brothers, to kind of really show people, no, I'm serious about this, and I really do want to change some of my habits, some of my old ways. And I think that, being reborn is a big part of that. Having Chase, being able to do that, Chase has been a very big part of my life off the court and off the court. On the court, I get frustrated. I say something I shouldn't say. He'll come over to me, like smack me in the chest, be like, "Hey, don't say that," or you know what I mean. So he's holding me accountable, just in my Christian walk. And yeah, it's just great to have someone like him on the program. Just spreading the faith and just loving on guys. And I hope to be as bold as he is.
I am proud of both of you guys, and I really think it's cool, and that's definitely something that I wanted to bring to light here as you spent time with us. Something else that's been really cool to watch, because I was here during some of the summer practices, but then we roll into the season, we really get going, and you've had some glimpses at the floor early in this season that are opportunities, and I feel like you have improved on those opportunities each and every time. What has that been like as you've transitioned from a high school player, but now you're playing in college? You go up against guys like you shared, Owen and Yusuf, then you're on the floor. Next thing you know, you're actually in a game.
Yeah, it's been really great, just being prepared for it all in practices. And like I said, throughout the summer, just working against and with those guys every day, just getting bigger and stronger, playing against bigger and stronger guys, just really prepared me. It's been really fun. I'm not going to lie, home opener, I was extremely nervous. Then, I got one dunk and I was on cloud nine. I was as confident as could be after that. And so ever since then, after about home opener or second game, home game, I felt pretty good about myself. And so I think that, just my teammates getting hyped for me and stuff like that, even in practice, just getting rebounds and guys getting hyped for me, coming up to me saying, "Hey, Caden, great job, good rebound." That really just means a lot to me, just in general, just having teammates that are always there to back you up and just lift you up. And I mean, that means the world to me, having those guys in my corner. And so I feel like if I have those guys in my corner, I can do anything.
Coach Clayman's offensive style presents a unique opportunity for all you guys, where I could say that you're almost positionless. And I could also say that as a big man, which is more your focus, Caden, that you get to expand a little bit broader than just staying down close to the basket in the post. What's your feelings on that? Is that something that you had experience with coming in, or is that more new here at High Point?
No, that is not something I have experience with. It was really hard to kind of grasp, because I'm used to being just a guy in the dunker or coming up and screening and rolling. We still do a lot of that, but it is, like you said, more positionless, especially on defense too. Having to guard guards, emergency switches, things like that. You got to be ready to guard a guard, and guarding Robert Martin definitely gets you prepared when you have to switch onto him. Sometimes it gets you prepared for other guards in this league and in any league, really, with how fast he is. And so, yeah, I mean, I was not prepared for it before I got here over the summer, and now I feel like I am a little more prepared. I'm a lot more comfortable still have things that obviously everybody has to work on. I have to work on ball handling, shooting, all of that. And so even just touch finishing, it's hard whenever you got 7-footers, trying to push you out the paint. And so I think that I'm getting better at it, and I became prepared later on in the summer and kind of where we are right now.
We're still, relatively speaking, earlier into this portion of the season, and I tried to ask a lot of the staff, but also the players this, because I feel like it's good to have goals, and it's good to be able to look back as you finish the season to see where you've come from. So is there anything in particular that you would say is a good goal for you, or maybe even the team, looking ahead into the season?
Yeah. Goal for me and the team is just the 4 championships. You got the one that we won in Daytona, regular season, Big South, and then of course, Final Four. So we all share those 4 championships. We want to get 4 or 4. We all share those goals. I think that we all know coming in here every day that those are our goals. I say that's just the biggest thing for me personally, is I just want to do whatever I can to help us reach that, whether that's me only playing 5 minutes a game, going in to get a rebound, right? Or, maybe playing scout team one day to give our guys a better look against a more aggressive big who is a great shot blocker, So I think that just being willing to do whatever the team needs is a big part of me being here, but also being ready for my number to be called whenever it needs to be, and being locked in and ready and prepared like I was against IUW.
Well, it's been a real pleasure of mine to watch how you've developed so far this season, and we look forward to watching you the rest of the way here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, man.
Caden Miller joined us here on the Proud Panthers podcast, and he, as I mentioned previously, came forward, had a good outing against Mary Baldwin in the most recent game this week, where he had 11 rebounds, our top rebounder for that contest. And I know that I have been one speaker in the crowd, I guess you could say, that feels we need somebody to fill a void. And the void is there once an Owen takes a break, or you have Terry or Cam that needs a break. That is a void that I've been waiting and eagerly anticipating a Yusuf or a J.I. or a Caden to really slide in and take ownership of. And maybe it's by committee, and it just depends on who the hot hand or who the guy is that is performing the best in practice and in that particular game for that time. But I feel like Caden did a good job of that this most recent week, when Yusuf ended up in foul trouble himself, and J.I., was the only other option there. So we now turn our attention towards a LaSalle game coming up tonight inside the Cobain Center. And there's a few things for me as I look towards this matchup. One being, don't let LaSalle's record fool you. They are 4-7, but I feel like they've had a pretty difficult non-conference schedule that they've set up for the first season under Darius Nichols. The other thing I would want to mention is that this LaSalle team, and the way that Nichols always had his Radford teams, it's one that wants to compete at a level that has given us a bit of problems already this season, most in particular with SIU and App State. Really physical, trying to out-rebound you, trying to out-muscle you in a lot of different ways. They're not going to probably play extremely pretty, but for them, that doesn't matter. That's not their plan anyways. So I hope that we're on our toes with that in mind, considering the other 2 previous outcomes that I already mentioned. And the last thing that I would really say here is that, given the outcomes with UAB, with SIU, and with App State, as a supporter and a fan, and wanting us to do our utmost best against comparable mid-major programs, I really feel like this is one of those that we need to win. It's at home. It's against an Atlantic 10 conference foe that there's been discussions over whether or not we could even fit in a league like that. And we have experience with Darius Nichols, so we kind of know what to expect that way. And we've also had these other previous outcomes that I've already mentioned that we know now it's time to really strap up and take this as serious as we can. I don't know that the time in between games, the time off, any of that really is going to play in, but at least this go around, unlike against App State, we did have a game earlier this week. I do also know that just given the circumstances of it being in and around the Christmas holiday, the atmosphere inside the Quabain Center, of course, we were playing Mary Baldwin. Of course, it was coming off of a loss. Of course, it was a Tuesday night, not a Friday night. I mean, all of those things I knew coming in and were obvious. But, man, I really hope that we have some type of energy inside of the Quabain Center tonight with maybe more community tickets out there and taken advantage of, because the students are away and you know that going in. But this game is I feel an important one for us. We look ahead to Monday. We have Bryant. We have a bit of a break for Christmas, but we've got Pfeiffer stuck in here. We've got, just a few of these opportunities left before it's New Year's Eve, and we're at UNC Asheville. Now we're in league play. And I really don't want to go into league play sputtering. I'd rather us go in confident, and I'd also like to see us sure up, clean up some of the different things that we've talked about. Tonight, defensively, I would love for that to be the main focus. I would love to see a concerted effort to get the deflections, the steals, to create chaos against the LaSalle offense that really isn't that threatening or deadly necessarily. I would, of course, like to see us compete. So I know that in speaking with Coach Clayman, and if you missed his comments after that Mary Baldwin game, it's up on our website at ProudSports.com, but he had said that rebounding had been really more of a concerted effort and focus. And so if that has been the case, then tonight is a great test to put that to measure. So lots of interesting things to consider as we get ready for tonight's game. Caden Miller being one of those that we'll see, if it is a good game for Owen and Terry and Cam, then hopefully we won't have to bounce to those reserves too fast. I just know for me, Yusuf, the guy, Aiden himself, has had real opportunity, and still feel that that's a good area that Aiden is really built for. Owen, 11 rebounds, 6 points as well against Mary Baldwin. Me, it was 11 rebounds, play solid defensively, give those guys some good minutes off the bench. And we appreciated him joining us here on the Proud Panthers podcast. Stay tuned after the game. We'll have a live Spaces. We hope that you'll join us for that. We'd really love to have your input, your thoughts, your questions, and comments, and that will be live on X afterwards, my page at Stephen Beck PS. And as I already said, if you'd like to hear Coach Clayman's comments after tonight's game, then be sure to tune in to my show tomorrow morning on WSJS. It's called Waking Up Proud, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.
They chasing the fame, they all want the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Say I walk like a king, talk like a king.